Okay everyone, it's the start of a brand new week and I am feeling fine. How are you doing? We have a packed video for you today. We're going to get your comments, we're going to get Ange comments, Euro roundup, ticket news, other news, what's to come this week because, whisper it, but it's Derby week. Hopefully you didn't all get too excited there when I started doing that whispering thing. That was a one-time event. Was yesterday a one-time event though? Celtic beating a team by 9 goals to 0. I wouldn't even be so sure that we won't see another result like that this season, given how relentless this team seemed to be. How amazing was yesterday? I feel like I need to just say the scoreline a few times because, yeah, it was a great result yesterday. It was amazing. Everything went our way. But I think until you actually kind of look at the scoreline and realise, yes, we're playing a struggling team, but it's a team who were in Europe a few weeks ago, beat AZ Alkmaar, held us last season both at Celtic Park and at Tannadice. And when you kind of factor all that in, and when you listen to this scoreline, now stop what you're doing, whatever you're doing, driving, running, etc., and listen to this. Dundee United 0, Celtic 9. Dundee United 0, Celtic 9. Celtic 9. 9. 9. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. How does it rank in terms of our history? Well, it's the biggest ever competitive away win in Celtic's history. It eclipses a 9-1 victory that we had at some stage. I actually couldn't find who the 9-1 victory was against, but it happened at some stage over the last 134 years. Quick maths. The biggest win we've ever had at home is 11-0 against Dundee back in 1895. I was chatting to Stevie and John about this game. They were actually there that day at Celtic Park and they said it was quite similar to yesterday in terms of the level of performance. So yeah, 11-0 against Dundee, 1895 is our biggest win ever. We did have a 10-0 against Hamilton in 1968. We obviously had that 9-0 against Aberdeen just over a decade ago. But this result coming on the road, aka away from home, is just incredible. But of course, the big caveat to that result kind of takes away from the full thing, to be honest, is that it would only have been 8-0 had Jota been correctly flagged offside for that fourth goal. I mean, wow, we got away with one there. Kyogo actually was in an offside position for 2 of the goals he scored originally, but by the time the ball actually broke to him, he wasn't offside. And I wanted to just touch on that a little bit because that is something that we've seen been a real theme so far this season. It's clearly something that Celtic have been worked on. It happened for Kyogo's first goal yesterday when Abada plays that through ball out to the left to Jota. Kyogo is miles offside. By the time Jota has run clear and gathered the ball, Kyogo is now behind the ball, so therefore onside, but still about 10 yards beyond the last Dundee United defender. It kind of feels like cheating, I'll be honest. It's like a loophole in the rules that Celtic have just exploited, and I have never seen another team exploit it like this, and it is just absolutely magic. I even saw stuff on Twitter, on rival forums, asking for FIFA to change the offside rule, so it's clearly annoyed the right people. But it happened for the third goal as well. Ball goes across to Abada, I think it was. Again, Kyogo's offside. By the time Abada squares it, Kyogo's behind the ball, therefore onside, and taps it into the net. And I think it's something we're going to see from Celtic going forward. It is clearly something that players have been working on throughout pre-season. To be fair, we saw it on occasion last season as well. I think the goal we scored away to Alkmaar in the first minute, Abada for Kyogo, was very similar. We saw it in other games as well already this season. Kilmarnock, the first goal in that game, again very similar. Maida squares it for Kyogo. Kyogo is the common theme here, and his movement is just incredible. And there was actually one early on in the game yesterday where I think it was Abada running down the right, and Jota had made the run to the back stick, and Abada, I think, shot or cut inside or something, and Kyogo was actually shouting at him that he should have played it to Jota. So I think this is something that Celtic are well aware of as a tactic. And I'm going to shut up now because I don't want to alert Van Bronckhorst or Ancelotti or anyone else to this wonderful, wonderful ploy. But I think it's something we're going to continue to see from Celtic. So I'll move on quickly. Okay, usual Monday procedure is to go through some of your comments from the live stream. The said live stream was with me and Stevie. Me at home. Stevie, as you can see, was using St. Peter's Wi-Fi. That is linked above. Now, first comment we've got in is from Dermot Scullion. This Celtic team is a gift that keeps on giving. The ruthlessness is something I can rarely remember seeing in my lifetime. The options are frightening. How good is it that the only negative from yesterday is that we didn't score 10? It's the whatever you want to call it, ruthlessness, relentlessness of this team that I find the most alluring about them. I just love their hunger to keep scoring goals. I think Angie even commented on it after the game. They don't really pay attention to the scoreboard. They're not defined by the scoreboard. It's all just about getting the most out of matches. Every single minute, doesn't matter whether it's first minute, last minute, the intent is the same. We want to score a goal and we want to score as many goals as we can. Ange actually made some other interesting comments after the game that I just want to bring up. He said, "What is important is the manner which we went about it. I am always respectful of this game. You need to stay humble and you can't get too ahead of yourself or this game will drag you back down." After we had finished with the reaction yesterday, I stuck on the English football. It was Nottingham Forest against Spurs. I don't know if you saw this, but late on in the game, Spurs are winning 2-0, and their forward Richarlison, the guy they signed from Everton, is doing a bit of showboat and he's kind of messing about with the ball, sticking it on his feet basically, and one of the Nottingham Forest players doesn't take too kindly to it, comes over and effectively kicks him up in the air and gets a booking for it. And I was thinking that kind of showboating, you wouldn't see that from a Celtic player. I know Jota does like a bit of that, and in pre-season he's flicking the ball over players' head, but that's all with an intention to try and score more goals. It's never just for the sake of showing off or showing the opposition a lack of respect, because I get the impression Andrew would be telling them, yes, you're 4-0 up at half-time, but we keep playing with the same intensity, and we did keep playing with that same intensity. Even at 8-0, even at 9-0 up, Celtic were still hungry to try and score more goals. It was epitomised to me when I saw Callum McGregor's reaction when he just curled that left-footed shot wide at 9-0 up, and he genuinely was like pretty kind of gutted it hadn't gone in, and all his teammates were like, oh, that would have been amazing. And I know we were going for 10-0, but I mean, the players genuinely wanted to win that game 10-0, and you know if they'd have got to 10-0, they'd have been going for an 11th as well. I just think it's amazing to watch, and yeah, I just think we're going to get so many more of those games this season. I really wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of 7-0s coming the rest of the season, maybe even more, because when we get a team at Celtic Park who are struggling, low in confidence, and when we hit our groove, it's going to be pretty ugly from an opposition's point of view and pretty good from our point of view. Moving on, and we'll go to David Bailey. I'm starting to sound like a broken record these days, but I can't stop talking about this team. Most exciting team since the 2003 squad. How do you think I feel, David? I'm on talking about this team every day for the last 12 months. Your point about the 2003 squad is a big statement. I think I'll hold fire on that a little bit to see what we do over the next month or so. Derby game, European games coming up. But in terms of enjoyment, they're right up there. I just absolutely love watching them. You do get absolutely buzzing, with the thought of seeing them again. Like, I can't wait for Wednesday night, even though we're going to make a raft of changes. I can't wait to see what magic we can produce on Wednesday night, and it's a great place to be. Raymond Blair's touching on a similar point. If this team can do us proud in Europe and get out of the group or on a great Europa League run, they will be the best Celtic team I've seen. They're already the best Celtic team to watch for me. What's the thoughts on this, everyone? Let us know in the comments. Is this the most enjoyable Celtic team you've ever seen? Is it the best Celtic team you've ever seen? Surely they've got a way to go to be the best. I mean, some of you will have seen the Lions, but even, Martin O'Neill's team, the results that they achieved in Europe, this team has achieved nothing in Europe so far, really. But in terms of enjoyment, where do they rank? And where's your mind at the moment with regards to this team? And try and take recency bias out of it. I'm quite interested to see what people are saying. Right, we'll move on. This is the weekend's results from the Premiership. St Mirren beating Hibs 1-0 and heaping a little bit more pressure on Lee Johnson, the Hibs manager. Not been a great start for them. Rangers beat Ross County by 4-0. Kilmarnock came from behind to beat Motherwell at Rugby Park, their first win of the season. And Aberdeen scudded Livingston 5-0. On Sunday, once we were finished with Dundee United, Hearts beat St Johnstone 3-2 in a bit of a thriller at Tynecastle. This is what the Scottish Premiership League table looks like, with Celtic still on top for the 5th week in a row. Just look at that goal difference, plus 20 after 5 games, which is just magic. Next up for us is that big battle with Rangers, who are currently in second, a couple of points behind us. Okay, a wee addition to the Monday roundup. Now we're going to take a brief look at how our European opponents got on in their domestic leagues this weekend. So there, first of all, on the left, we have Real Madrid, who beat Espanyol by 3-1 late last night. They were kind of struggling for a bit, Real, until Karim Benzema did what Karim Benzema does and scored a double late on. They are top of the league. For the other two sides, it was a first victory of the season. Leipzig beat Wolfsburg by 2-0. They're up to 9th in the Bundesliga. Bit of a tough start for them, and as much as it was a good victory for them yesterday, I think still questions about the level of their performance, and Kunku getting both of their goals. And a narrow win for Shakhtar over Kvyrbas, with Bondarenko scoring 13 minutes from time. The Ukrainian league has, of course, only recently started, been played with no fans. Shakhtar with 4 points from their first 2 games. And on the topic of European football, we know a good bit more about the planned allocations for the 3 away days Celtic will have in Champions League Group F. The club confirmed late last week that we'd be getting 1,800 tickets for the Bernabeu, which is still having work done to it and has a smaller capacity as a result. While earlier today, John Paul Taylor, the supporters liaison officer, revealed we're looking at 2,300 tickets for Leipzig and just 1,500 for Warsaw, where we're playing Shakhtar Donetsk. UEFA rules state that 5% of the capacity has to be made available for away supporters, hence why we have to give 3,000 tickets to away fans, meaning that only 1,800 for the Bernabeu suggests that their capacity is only 36,000 at the moment. Doesn't seem quite right to me, but the club did mention ongoing construction work in their statement, so that is perhaps a big reason for why we're only getting 1,800 tickets. Shakhtar have already sold over 18,000 three-match packages for their games in Warsaw at Legia's 31,000 stadium, where we played in pre-season. So it seems like those matches are going to be pretty full. Should be plenty of chances for tickets for Leipzig's Red Bull Arena. They tend to have about 50-60% capacity for Champions League games. And when Rangers visited there earlier this year in the Europa League, they even had a neutral section for their fans. So hopeful of similar when we visit. So what does the next week have in store from a Celtic point of view? Well, believe it or not, we are actually playing Rangers this weekend. I am not buzzing for this at all at the moment. I'm definitely going to be, probably by like Wednesday night at the latest, but just so much else happening at the moment that I kind of feel like, God, we're playing Rangers in a few days. It's this weekend and we don't even have to wait till Sunday. The game is on Saturday, so we're, 5 days, less than 5 days away from the big match. So we'll keep an eye on that as we have a chance to go 5 points clear. We also have a game before that to distract us as well. We're playing Ross County on Wednesday night in the Premier Sports Cup last 16, and with Real Madrid not far away either. There's plenty to talk about there. I'm so buzzing that we're back to 2 games a week. It's just going to mean there is so much more for us to talk about. It's just going to mean that momentum is, you're able to gather so much more momentum. We're going to see more of Giakoumakis and Abada and Ralston and all of these players who have had to bide their time over the early weeks of the season. And yeah, it's just going to be brilliant. On tomorrow's video, right away, we're previewing Ross County. We're back to this, game. And we're also going to hear from Sead Haksabanovic, who I'll be chatting to later on today. So we'll get that in tomorrow's video as well. So yeah, chat to you then. Actually, before I go, I do want to just give a wee message, because I haven't done it in a while, to politely ask you if you would mind subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. I was looking at the numbers for August, and 46% of you who have watched our video this month haven't actually subscribed. So I know you're out there. It costs absolutely nothing. It takes 2 minutes of your time, and it really means a lot to us in terms of growing the channel, making sure that more people like you, more Celtic fans like you, can find out about us. So I will shut up and finish this video. If you could just really quickly subscribe and help us get to 33,000, I would be forever grateful.